It finally happened. It's been a journey. The geckos I've been after for a long time are finally here. But let's take it back, way back. I'm Max, and I keep some pretty dope animals, from native New Zealand geckos to Cunningham skinks. But one day I was at the gym, and this all started from a gym session. A innocent little gym session. As I was riding home, I came across a glass tank. Now, that's what I love about inorganics here in New Zealand, is that one man's trash is another man's treasure. And I thought, let's take it home. Let's get that sucker home and see if I can do something with it. Now I thought, what could I put in here? It was quite large, but it was full of crap. It had pebbles, it had sand, it had weird plastic toys, it had some rocks, and I thought, okay, let's measure it up. Maybe I can transform this into something really special. But the idea at first was, what am I going to put in this? I had no idea. Was it going to be a fish tank? Was it going to be for newts? Was it going to be for geckos? Or was I just going to throw it out? Or put it out in the lawn? But I had to get to work. Let's clean up first.
Alright guys, so today I went out and I got this I got this new rack from the local hardware store. It's going to be my second reptile rack. Obviously the channel's, I'm not going to say growing or getting bigger, my collection is growing and getting bigger, and I would like to do a lot more things. This is longer so I can get larger enclosures and kind of break it up. Now currently I have this here, this reptile rack, plus this for storage, and obviously coming soon is a couple of DIY surprise enclosures which are coming to the channel, so stay tuned. Otherwise, Feet Figgy. Now, I'm not a huge DIY guy, but these are pretty simple to put together, so even I can do it. And don't judge me for the fashion. I didn't choose this ensemble, the ensemble chose me. All right, let's crack into it. Get my trusty, that's what, okay. That's a good, great start. I don't actually think I need that. All right, safety first. The rule is cut towards you, right? That's the safety rule. Need some aggression at some stage. Great start. This is a disaster. Here's our bits of particle board. Super easy to put together. It's exactly what you want, and it's not that expensive. Most places have Afterpay these days, guys. Afterpay is basically you buying the product for the first portion of the price. You forget about the rest of them, right? The rest of the payments. Out of sight, out of mind. These are all the bases, each shelf. Oh yeah, pretty heavy. Look at that, mallet required. So they don't tell you that unless you read the back of the actual box. So you take this home and you don't have a mallet, and you're basically bashing it to pieces with a hammer. It's just fucking awesome. Actually, I need the instructions are on the back of it. God. Let's crack into it. All right, first base, voila. Too easy. Now let's montage the rest of it. So obviously you have to, measure once, cut twice, that's the golden rule. So 47 is the height. With a light, I'm gonna need at least 60, right? Yeah, I think I like that. I don't mess it up.
I don't know what the previous owners had in this thing, but it was an absolute mission to clean. I had to spray it, I had to scald it with boiling water, I had to scrub it over and over again. Alright, as you can see, there's still a lot of work to do. There was actually a lot of silicone patches all around the glass as well, and I don't know what it was used for, but nonetheless, more water, more scraping, more scrubbing. More water, more scraping, more scrubbing. Rinse and repeat. I often find myself at the plant store, just for inspiration. And at this point, I kind of knew I was building a native terrarium or a native forest terrarium, so I thought, let's check out the native plants and get some inspiration. Otherwise, back to it, you know the drill now. More hot water, more scrubbing, more spraying, rinse and repeat. How did you get a little treaty amongst all the hard work? But otherwise, back to scraping. Alright, finally, I know what you're thinking. Let's get to it. Enough cleaning. So it was ready to go. I got the topsoil in. Now this is going to be a bioactive environment. Everything was going to be freshly grown in. So I got some fern moss, I got some nice rocks, and I started the scaping process. Like always, I say it's the most exciting part of any build. Doing the hardscape, getting creative. I did lots of tunnels, lots of underground bunkers. I knew what I wanted. I had just like a draft idea. I wanted a terrestrial species of our native geckos. So I thought, let's build the perfect environment for them. Something that they'll flourish in, something that they'll enjoy, something that makes sense. Now after adding some very important additions, the cleanup crew. There were isopods, there were millipedes, there were small spiders, and this isn't the final enclosure. There was still so much to do. I went out and I got myself a ponga log. Now ponga logs are native to New Zealand, and in Christchurch it's really hard to source. They often only grow on the west coast, and here in Christchurch you have to buy them, essentially. They like the wet environment, and I was thinking, I'm building a forest. I need humidity, I need moisture. So I need the perfect environment and the perfect elements to add to it. So to break this up into smaller pieces, some decor, some decorative material. Now we're getting somewhere. I went out and got some ferns as well. If we're going to make a native New Zealand forest, it needs to be legit, right? It needs to be authentic. Essentially, this is what I'm trying to replicate. The New Zealand traditional forest. Rich with ponga, with fern, and the perfect environment for these geckos. So let's start putting everything in. Start with the hardscape, the ponga, and like I said, the most enjoyable part of any build is the hardscape, is the decorative elements. But you also spend a lot of time of restarting, redoing, and sometimes you just have to sleep on it. So this is the baseline. This is the baseline build. This was a 4 to 6 week roughly project. It took about 6 weeks to finally get to a growth stage where everything was growing and everything was living. But I had time on my side. I didn't even have the geckos yet, and I didn't even know at this point what I was going to get. I wanted this to be perfect, so I spent a lot of time just looking at it. Did I have the right balance? Did I have the right mix? Do I have enough vegetation? Do I need more? What do I need to add? It's all you do as reptile keeper. You just constantly want to rebuild and remake it, and it's not perfect. Your procrastination, everything. So I went out and I got a fern, the first stage, right? I need to add some more arboreal elements. I want a terrestrial species, but you still got to have the right environment. It has to be the perfect New Zealand touch. Six weeks later, and there is life. It's all growing in, and it's perfect. There's a wolf spider even living. I don't even know how it got in there, but it got in there. And it's alive, which is fantastic. It means the isopods are alive, the millipedes are alive, everything's alive. And that's all that matters. I was really pleased with the final project. It looks awesome. It looks like a little bit of New Zealand backyard. A little miniature New Zealand forest. But it's not quite done. I had to complete the lighting. I got an LED jungle bar for the plants as well as a UVB bar for the geckos. 2 awesome products. Now here they are. I finally knew what I was getting. The Ruakawa gecko. These guys, also known as the common gecko, or Woodworthia maculata, they're a terrestrial species native to New Zealand and they're absolutely awesome. They've got these black spots, awesome colorations, and these golden eyes. And these massive toed beans, and they're quite plumpy, and they got this loose skin. Like a mini Duvercells almost. Now for some reason they're quite misrepresented in the community here in New Zealand. Not a lot of people have them. I guess not too long ago, maybe about 20 years ago, you could actually buy them in the pet store before you had to get a permit. But unlike the Northland green gecko or a leopard gecko, completely different species. Really unique. They have these like fat, chubby feet with these big toe pads. Kind of reminds me of a tokay gecko. An awesome species nonetheless. The more I saw these geckos, the more I handled them, the more I fell in love with their incredible beauty. These plumpy little fellas, super easy to handle, gorgeous eyes, gorgeous colorations, and just needed a fresh start. They need to be brought back. They shouldn't be called the common gecko, they should be called the amazing gecko. But anyway, enough about that. Just enjoy these creatures for what they are, an incredible species. This was the biggest project I've done to date. It took me about 2 months all up, but it was super rewarding. I now keep an incredible species of New Zealand gecko that I'm very fortunate to be able to keep in captivity, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing how they behave here and how they flourish and change in this environment. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm Max. I love ectotherms. I love nature. I love wildlife. And I love creating these videos and these experiences. Stay tuned for the next one.